Good morning, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Not bad.
Alright, I brought you a copy of my cover letter and my resume, just so you can look over there while we are going over some questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Couple questions to start off with. Why did you choose the career for which you were preparing?
I chose the physical therapy field for a number of reasons. Number one, I knew that I wanted to go into the medical field because I wanted to help people. It's a good profession. I knew I couldn't be a nurse. That's not really my thing. So physical therapy really jumped out at me whenever I was looking at courses to take. I back everything that physical therapy stands for as far as I am for fixing the problem. So if somebody's having shoulder pain, instead of just taking the opioids and dealing with that way the rest of your life, let's strengthen those muscles, let's figure out what's really behind it, and let's fix it for good. And like I said before, I really like to help people. I like to care for people. I like to get them better. I love to see the look on my patient's face as they're getting better and they're progressing, and they come in and they're like, look, I can do this. So that's really what keeps me going, and that's really why I like this profession.
Awesome. How was your college experience prepared you for your career?
I really feel that my time at Hawking College really prepared me for what I'm going to see in the field. I had 3 different clinical rotations. My first 2 were both in an outpatient setting. So, we've seen your typical shoulder rotator cuff repairs. We've seen a lot of knee replacements, a few hip replacements, low back pain. So I have a lot of experience with that. My last rotation was in skilled nursing. I got 5.5 weeks in it, and though that was only 5.5 weeks, I had a really great instructor. I learned a lot from her. I feel confident in all of my transfers, my bed mobility, getting people in and out of bed, and as far as what you do with the elderly population or the disabled population, I feel really comfortable in my abilities in that area.
Describe a time you had to put forth great effort for a task.
That would definitely be school. Getting through the PTA program is probably one of the hardest things I have ever faced in my life. The course load that you had to take on was full-time. Doing my general classes, that all came easy to me. School's always been pretty easy to me. I got to my clinical classes and trying to juggle that with clinical rotations and whatnot, and I was actually taking it seriously. I was like, this is job training. This is stuff you have to know. I'm like, okay, take it serious. We've really got to bump it into gear. You really have to know this. So that taught me a lot of determination, a lot of independence, motivation.
What did you learn about yourself from this experience?
I learned that I'm a lot harder worker than what I thought I was. I've always considered myself a hard worker in this aspect of actually being at work. But as far as school, like I said, that's always come easy to me. So to actually have to work for something, work towards something, have a goal in mind, like take something so seriously, I learned a lot about myself. In that aspect, I learned a lot of time management, for sure. That was one thing. I could still have a social life while I was taking my general classes, and then whenever I got my clinicals, I had to really balance that. So I learned a lot about myself in that aspect.
What effect did this effort have on you or those around you?
I would say that my husband and my mother took the brunt end of a lot of things, but I think they really see me grow as a person, as an independent person. My husband and I got together whenever we were 18 and 19 years old, so I've always kind of had somebody there for me, but he couldn't help me with this. This was something I had to do on my own for myself, and so he had to really take on a lot of the stress that I had, like, at home. So, like, housework and stuff like that, he really had to take that on. But as far as, like, attitude and stuff, they took it pretty well. They were the ones I came home and vented to, but they did well with it.
Um, what do you think it really takes to be successful in an organization?
I think teamwork is key to anything. And with teamwork comes a lot of different aspects. People's attitudes towards their job, what they do, each other, that has a lot to do with it. I think that it starts at the top. If somebody is running a business well and there's good management and they're encouraging their employees, then that is just going to trickle down the line. And as long as everybody's doing their part, everybody has a good attitude about it, and everybody's pulling their end of the bargain, then it really helps to come together and make everything successful.
Agreed. Relate a personality problem you had with a coworker.
Okay. Well, my first job I ever had was at Arby's. I had the assistant manager there. She was not a very pleasant person, and she was known to pick particularly on younger girls. I don't know what it was, but she was known for that. And whenever I first started there, she was the one who was training me. My first few days, I went home to my mom and I was like, I can't do this. I was crying. I was like, this is terrible. I'm like, she's so mean to me. She was constantly putting me down. She expected me to know everything right off the bat. It was the first job I ever had, and I was just like, oh my goodness. I was like, Mom, I can't do this. I'm like, she's so mean. She's terrible. She's the one who's training me. I don't know how I'm going to do this. And my mom was just like, go in with it. Go in there confident, have a good attitude, be nice to her, and the nicer you are to her, then the nicer she will be. And I'm like, ugh, this lady does not have a nice bone in her body, but okay, I'll try it. And I worked there for 3 years. And over the course of the 3 years, I just would do a little bit extra whenever she was around and try to like really focus on being nice to her and putting forth a little bit extra effort to get on her good side. And I like made that my goal. And by the end of it, she quit, I think, about 2 years into whenever I was there. And I was super sad to see her go. We became really close. She ended up being a really nice person once we got to know each other and our personalities didn't collide so much.
Cool. How do you think others perceive the problem?
Like I said, she had the reputation for kind of picking on the younger girls. So that was kind of known that she picked on us. But it didn't really affect the way we worked together. Like, we still worked together fine, and I really don't think that it affected anybody's work in that aspect.
And how did you, I know you explained a little bit already, but how did you resolve the matter?
Like I said, I just made it my goal to be nice to her. I'm like, I'm going to be nice to her, and I'm going to do everything I can to get on this lady's good side. And I wasn't going to, I was just going to be an extra good person. I already strive to be a really good person, but I was going to be an extra good person whenever it comes to this lady. And I was going to work really hard to get on her good side. And it worked out. Like I said, I cried the day that she left. I was super sad to see her go. So we actually ended up getting really close.
All right. That concludes the interview. No more questions. Thank you.
Thanks.